What's up, New Hope family? Welcome to New Hope here. Welcome to the lobby. This is one of our weirdest, most special lobby episodes in a while. I have two guests.
What does that mean?
Don't worry, don't ask questions. Guests don't ask questions, you answer questions. Two guests this week. Wow. I have my friend and my coworker, Hattie.
Hello,
Hattie. And Pastor Mike is also here.
I like to introduce you as a friend. Yeah.
My friend and spiritual mentor and our beloved leader, Pastor Mike, is also here. Hello.
I just
Can we get
friend and coworker.
raucous applause for Pastor Mike, please? Raucous applause. Thank you. Yeah, raucous applause for Pastor Mike. We can't hear it in the room, but I trust you that it was working.
It was there.
And recording.
I heard it in my ears.
Okay.
I saw him hit the button. So.
Excellent. We have on producer cam today our first ever dual produced episode. It's going to be a disaster.
That's going to be trouble.
Probably.
Yeah, this is gonna
Wait. That was applause again.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
We should not have given them the button
No.
bar. This was a
Definitely
huge
not.
mistake. But it's Vision Sunday. Wait,
It
hold
is.
on. No, hold on.
Oh.
Wait for it.
I'm waiting.
Can you hold that real quick?
Oh, yes.
This is exciting.
Hello, and welcome to the...
Wait, it's Vision Sunday.
Oh, wow. That was good.
That is not
That
impressive
is-
at all.
That is how we celebrate on the lobby.
It's very festive.
I love that there's enough helium for it to hover by your head, but not enough for it to go all the way up and stay all
Here's
the
what
way
I love about this.
Oh,
And this is,
man.
you say, you said some nice things about me, but this is the level of respect that comes to you. I say, we want a big party on the lobby. We want fun, and
And we've got
we
it.
got a semi-deflated balloon.
We have got it.
It's wonderful.
What we lack in helium, we make up for in humor. I don't know.
Let's not get carried away.
We should, what we should do is inhale helium and do the entire
Well,
lobby that way.
we have this one balloon.
That's
Pastor
all
Mike.
we have.
That's enough for
That's
like
all of
one
the
breath
helium.
Well,
right there.
perfect.
Yeah.
You
Where
seem
did the
like
rest of the helium
expert.
go?
I
Did
don't know.
Olivia...
Olivia used all of it. Can we hear your helium voice?
All. Hello, how are you guys?
She tried.
We do have a game that we're going to play that's going to be a surprise to Pastor Mike.
The last time we did a game like that was for New Hope students and ended up drinking spicy pickle juice.
That was a
or
really good time.
something. It was not a
do we
good
have any of
time.
that left over?
Go check it out on YouTube.
That was a long time ago.
Yes,
I hope it's not
definitely
left
go
over.
check out our New Hope Students playlist on our
was
YouTube channel
terrible.
because that was really fun for me.
I get a little feeling of it. And I'm like, is it a spider or a moth?
You'll never
None of
know.
those.
You'll have to rewatch the
Creeping
episode.
up the static is drawing it in.
It's the most lobby perfect
It's like
balloon
all up in your business.
of all
I
time.
don't-
Which one
This
of
is
the
how we party around New Hope.
which one of the
Really good.
which one of the producers has the timer? By the way,
I have it.
Me, no, I do actually.
I'm gonna need one or both of the producers when we're at 5 minutes. I need
okay.
to know. But it's
Sure.
Vision Sunday today,
It is
Pastor
Vision
Mike.
Sunday.
That's why we're throwing this tremendous party.
It's great.
That's why it's a special day today. That's why you have something around your neck,
A key.
which you guys will learn about that later. We talked a little bit about it last week as well, but yeah, it's gonna be a really cool day.
We'll be doing some vision test later.
Yeah, we.
That's why I'm wearing my
Yeah, it's
glasses
Vision
today.
Sunday, Pastor Mike. Can you read those letters and numbers behind the camera for us, please?
Anyone want to borrow my glasses?
Man,
I might need them.
that would have been such
Oh
a
my
good
goodness.
idea. Why didn't we
Yeah.
do
Could
that?
we just pause real quick
yeah.
and set it up?
Everybody forget everything that's happened up to this point. Man, that would have been a really funny idea.
Who has the
We're really
best...
good at coming
Olivia,
up with
where were
ideas
you?
when
I'm
it's too
sorry.
late
I was
to-
not at the meeting.
Michael has letters on his shirt, Pastor Mike. Could you read those letters, please?
P-A-P-A.
That was really good. Could we get the applause again? That was
Oh,
really
yeah.
good.
Mm.
Yeah, that was really
And his hat says NH.
Wow.
What? All I heard was a roaring
His hat
applause.
says NH. I can also read his hat. It says NH.
Yeah, I read your hat. And
Oh.
partial H.
And partial H.
I'm hoping to find out if I'm funnier, if at all, when I have to hold a microphone or when I don't have to. How much of my
It's like a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
They always hold their microphone. They never have.
right.
Can we take a poll right now?
I think
or
that's a
maybe
really
like
good idea.
towards the end at the
no,
5
I
minute
think-
warning.
I think that's a good idea.
Funnier.
We're at 5
With
minutes,
Mike?
by the way.
Actually, we're at 5 minutes and 13 seconds.
Oh, we'll do that poll at the end.
Okay,
We'll
great.
see if I've been funnier than usual, less funny than usual, or the same amount of funny as usual. Even if that amount of funny is 0 for you, We just want to know if it scales up or down with the handheld microphone. I think that's a very important poll
Yeah.
that we will take.
Yeah.
later
Could be
on
like
in the
important
show.
for future.
Olivia, producer Olivia, is
Yes.
going to bring some blindfolds
I
over
am.
Oh no.
and blindfold. Keep those. Keep
Yep.
no. Keep those away.
Oh,
Keep on
oh,
away.
Just
I-
step on through.
You're
You'll
not
be
in
fine.
a
I did not sign any releases.
Oh,
or
that's a shame.
anything.
That's what is it? The other duties as assigned in the contract.
That's my
You
favorite
probably
class.
have
I
that
don't-
too, right?
Yeah, I probably do.
I'll get the board to approve this, so then
Yeah.
you.
I think it'd be
have to
funnier
take
if
part.
I actually am the one that puts them on.
Okay.
So if
Oh,
you guys could
I
just-
was
we're just
certain
gonna
that
go
that
right
was
in,
going to
right?
happen.
Yeah, just don't do it too tight.
I'm glad I'm not being blindfolded. I don't think those would be big enough for my head. Not even lying.
I thought we
So
were gonna
many
only.
comments.
I thought we were gonna only blindfold Pastor Mike and not tell him.
You're gonna take.
Yeah, we,
It's not
you
too
take
late.
Hatties off as
I
soon
could
as
take
mine's
it
on.
off. Yeah.
I-
we need to have
I
on.
played this game before. I was a youth pastor once. I know how these work.
We need to have
Alright,
on
ready? You're going
No,
camera
I'm not. I'm going
brainstorming
under.
sessions
What
way
is
more
this?
often.
Anesthesia? Is this?
When you guys hang out with us on the lobby, we have way better ideas than when we try to think about what to do
You
on
can't
the
say
lobby.
anything, right?
Would I tell you if I could?
Well, what does Michael's hat say?
N partial H.
I feel like it's gonna slide though.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
To be
No.
honest,
David, should
Wow,
I-
look at the honesty from
Don't-
the
Should I
past.
take it
he's like
off?
pulling his hair.
Just
out.
wait
Does
to
that
take it
work
off for now.
Should I put on tighter?
No, it's good.
Good?
Okay.
In case you're wondering, Hattie, we removed the balloon, so if you feel anything now, it's
Okay.
definitely a spider.
Okay, good to know.
I don't believe that she's blindfolded still.
I
think
did
she
not.
took hers off.
On the lobby, I don't like this. You know,
I'm
if we were just
trusting your
playing a game.
integrity.
Uh,
Hattie.
now,
We're
got
actually
it.
not doing anything with the blindfolds. We just
yeah,
wanted them
this
to
we just
wear
thought
it.
it'd be really funny to go for 10 minutes with you guys blindfolded. Also
The
a good
balloon
idea.
is still there. The balloon is still there.
Pastor Mike's just waiting for something to happen, and it never does. We're like, all right, we'll see you in the service in a minute. Oh, sure, yeah.
Or are you doing?
We're gonna have a competition
Okay.
Oh no.
because as I love that we blindfolded them before we introduced it too, just so they have to sit there blindfolded.
Yeah.
We've talked about it many times, both here on the lobby. Pastor Mike mentions it in his sermons. We've talked about it on the Grow podcast. Pastor Mike's affinity for
Jelly
Christmas.
Jelly Belly.
That too.
Okay, Hattie is funnier when I'm holding a microphone. So Hattie is our control group. We have 10 Jelly Belly, or did we end up with 11?
Oh, I
Oh,
can't identify flavors.
We have
I just
11
eat
jelly
them.
beans.
You can't identify flavors?
Not in Jelly Bellies. I like most of them.
Pastor Mike
Unless
believes.
they're the awful
Pastor
ones.
Mike believes in blindly grabbing a jelly bean,
Yes.
eating it, and enjoying it. So you're going to blindly be given a jelly bean, probably, and
Right now?
we're going to need you to eat it and guess the flavor. And
Oh.
Hattie's the control group because Hattie's a casual jelly bean.
I mean,
eater.
I don't eat them
Did
that
you guys,
often.
are these like good flavors,
Do
or
I-
did you mix some of the
You don't
awful
need to,
like
you don't need
Harry
to worry
Potter
about what
ones in
flavors
there?
they are. Please administer the first jelly bean.
Are they both the same right now?
They're going to be this exact same
It's the
flavor.
same,
Do you
okay.
have the flavors in front of you? Do you remember
Nope,
what they are?
that's what I was.
You know what they are?
Do I eat it?
Go.
Wait, hold on.
Are you ready?
You go.
I'm
Yeah,
ready.
go ahead.
Should
go
we
ahead.
cheers?
All right.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Oh.
Wow, that was really good, guys. That was dynamic content. All
It's
right,
fruity.
What was the? Come on back, producer Olivia. This is. We are nailing the production quality of
Okay,
this
I have
episode.
my
The
guess.
lobby at its finest.
I have my guess.
It's one of the fruits.
All right, Hattie, what's your guess?
I'm gonna
We'll
guess.
Hattie first this time.
Is he set on his?
Yeah, you gotta lock in, Pastor Mike.
I'm
You can't
locked
cheat.
in.
Hattie's locked in. Okay, Pastor Mike, you go first because Hattie's locked in.
I'm gonna say there's
Honor-
a flavor
honor
called
system.
Tutti Frutti.
Okay, Hattie.
I'm gonna say pineapple.
Hmm.
But actually,
Oh, you were locked in. You're locked in. Olivia,
Mixed berry.
mixed
Oh.
berry.
So yeah.
Swing and a
Hey,
miss for
just
both
so you
of
know,
you.
we gotta move this along. We
Okay.
are almost at 10 minutes.
We're going a little longer.
I
I
know.
was in the neighborhood because it was mixed fruit,
Here.
Tutti Frutti.
Here, you can do both.
can
All
I
right,
eat
go
it?
ahead. Go ahead and eat. Yep, go ahead and eat jelly bean number 2.
Oh, this one's
I don't
easy.
like this one.
Pastor
I
Mike's
got it.
locked in.
Me too.
All right, Hattie, you're first this time.
Licorice.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Pastor Mike?
Black licorice.
Yeah, I feel like we'll
so
give Hattie.
sorry.
We're gonna give Hattie half a point on
What?
that one.
I mean, if it's
Because
bad,
the flavor is black licorice.
But I
Please
made a
administer the
face-
next jelly
I
I
bean.
made a
easy.
face that just like
that
said
screamed
it's
black
black
licorice, yeah.
All right, now
Go-
that flavor's in my mouth.
Go
so
ahead.
It's gonna affect the next one.
I agree.
Oh, they can also guess.
I'm locked
No,
in.
we're gonna put it on the screen.
I want
We'll
it to
put
be like
we'll put
a
the flavor on
race.
the screen.
Oh, the last one's overpowering.
Oh, you know,
the flavor of
that's
this one.
no, I don't like that.
I got
It's
it.
too late now. All right, Hattie's locked in. Pastor Mike, what's your answer?
Vanilla?
Coconut.
Hattie's got it.
Yes.
Ooh,
That makes sense. Yeah.
Hattie
Pastor
with
Mike, you're
1.5
supposed to be
is
the
in the lead.
expert.
No, I didn't
No,
say I was a
Next
flavor
jelly bean,
expert. I
please.
just
No
love jelly
half.
beans.
You are not the host of this game.
I'm not
You're
like
just playing.
Gordon Ramsay where I know everything. My language is better though.
Yeah, please continue to not be Gordon Ramsay for the rest of the episode, please. When you're preaching, you can do whatever you need to do, Pastor Mike. But
Oh, that would be so funny.
Hattie,
Oh, I know.
I
that.
don't
Answer?
know what it tastes like.
we're gonna need a guess.
Okay.
I think
Vanilla?
I'm locked in.
Pastor Mike,
I'm gonna go vanilla.
Nope, it's toasted marshmallow.
toasted
Oh,
marshmallow.
darn
That's
it.
that's
I
close.
knew it was one I
but yep.
recognized.
Next flavor. Oh, we were gonna.
Do we have a? Is it close?
We ready for this one?
I think we should make them wear them for the rest of it. Just toss them over. Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Consume the jelly bean.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fruity again.
Pastor Mike, do you have your guess?
I'm gonna say cherry.
Hattie.
I'll say strawberry.
So Hattie's got half a point because it's strawberry jam.
Strawberry
Ooh,
jam. So
strawberry
another
jam.
half a point
Yes.
for Hattie.
I still say I get
Another
black
half a
delicious.
point for Hattie.
That was berry.
Pastor Mike, I can't believe I'm
All
beating
right.
you.
How many more jelly beans do we have left?
Do you want me to grab the bamboozled ones now?
No, thank
Please.
you.
Yeah, but actually we're about halfway. Well, we
Am I
have,
eating this?
5
Yeah, go ahead.
more.
Go ahead.
So halfway through, we're just gonna pop these.
Ding.
We're really going for the party atmosphere now.
What are you?
Oh
Vision
my
Sunday.
God.
Can I get the like bow bow sound?
No.
Just guess. Just guess. There we go. Do you guys have a guess?
Yeah.
I know this one.
Pastor Mike doesn't know this one. I got it.
All right, Pastor Mike.
It's not it.
Just
I was
guess.
gonna say buttered popcorn, but it's not
Okay,
it.
Hattie.
Butter popcorn.
It's caramel.
It's caramel corn. You
Yeah.
both got it wrong. Next
Yeah.
one, please, Olivia. We're probably well over our time.
We're at 12:43.
All right, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. All right, please consume your jelly bean.
Hmm.
Do you have any idea what the score is right now? I think it's 2-1.
I think
Hattie's in
it's-
the
I think
lead.
2-1.
Yep.
2-1.
Yep. You have
We've-
2 half points.
But we've got more than that, right?
You don't need to
No.
worry about it.
No, you have not.
You know I'm competitive.
Pastor Mike, go ahead.
I have no idea on this one.
Hattie,
Mm,
Pastor Mike, are you giving up? You got to take a guess. We need
I'll
a guess.
guess strawberry. That's not it.
I don't. Bubble gum. That's not it either.
Watermelon.
Watermelon.
Oh,
That's like a
darn
top
it.
3 Jelly Belly flavor.
Not mine.
This is outrageous. Pastor Mike, I am very disappointed in your performance so far.
You know, I only eat 3 of these a day, so
I've
you're
never-
ruining my
Yeah, we're really
eating plan.
we're destroying your diet on the lobby
Oh.
today.
Oh, I
I
know.
think I know.
Okay.
Ding.
Hattie, you go.
Margarita.
Pastor Mike,
Mm-hmm. Margarita.
is this one mine? That was Juicy Pear, correct?
Yeah.
Juicy Pear, my favorite
That's
Jelly
my
Belly.
favorite too,
It,
yeah.
oh,
My
that was a
favorite
good
Jelly
one.
Belly.
Oh yeah. Okay, now that you say that.
All right, how many left?
We've got this one and then 2 more.
Go ahead.
Come on.
Go
I
ahead,
still
go
have
ahead.
juicy
And,
pear. I'm
and
working
one
on.
more minute.
Yeah, you got to eat these jelly beans faster, guys.
Or guess faster.
All right, Pastor Mike, what's your guess?
Oh, I know this one.
It's a weird one.
So much for faster.
All right.
Again, not it, but banana.
Banana.
But
That was not banana.
the sneaky best part of this bit has been Hattie judging Pastor Mike for all of his guesses.
I think it tasted like Pepto Bismol, but I know
No.
that's
I don't
not
think
it.
that's a Jelly Belly flavor, but it should be.
What was it?
What's your guess?
Pepto
Oh,
Bismol.
okay. What was it?
A&W.
A&W.
Yes, that's it. See, words are hard
Banana.
for me.
But A&W root beer.
What did you guess, Pastor Mike?
I'm not saying.
Banana.
Banana was closer than Pepto Bismol. At least it was a food. Last jelly bean.
I don't
Last
know.
jelly
I think
bean.
those are.
Got 2 more.
We got.
Just 1 more after that.
Okay. Got
okay,
it.
fine. All right, Pastor Mike.
Buttered popcorn.
Yep.
Okay, you guys got
Okay.
it. Both of you guys.
Pastor Mike, you got to get this one right, and she has to get it wrong in order to tie. Here we go.
Okay. I need a palate cleanser.
Me too.
Your palate cleanser is the balloon
it's-
behind you. Just. Oh yeah, you have a drink. We gotta go. We gotta go. You gotta eat it.
Oh,
I'm gonna sip my Fresca. It's a great.
What flavor is that?
I know this one too.
There were flavored Frescas for a while. Does anyone remember the flavored Frescas? There was black cherry and I
Mhm.
think peach. They
I
were
like
incredible.
black cherry.
We need a guess. We need a guess.
Yeah, about
I don't
30
know.
minutes or 30 seconds ago.
We have 30 minutes to go. Oh, man.
Actually,
Our
we
numbers
have
just
20
dropped
minutes
way
to
off.
I'll
go.
say lime.
Lime
That's not
and
it.
I'll say peach.
Hattie got
Patty
it.
got it. Nice. Sweet peach. That was a beatdown.
I'll
Four,
say
I'm
peach.
disappointed in myself.
4 to
High five.
1. Yeah, high five, Pastor Mike.
Are we just gonna have him stand
wow.
there with iPhones?
That was impressively right on from the get-go. It's
we
completely
take
up
these
to you
off?
guys if you want to leave
Yeah.
your blindfolds and hats on for the rest of.
I think the hats need to stay on.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Thank you guys.
Kind
Can we
of
get
not
can we get raucous applause for
Oh, yeah.
Hattie for her victory?
I like
Thank
I like
you.
how this works. Whoops.
Oh my. Oh my.
I don't know where it went. All right.
Oh
He's
man.
had too many jelly beans.
I feel like because we all
More
know how
jelly
much.
jelly beans than I've had in months.
He's gonna
Yeah,
be real
I can-
hyped up the rest of the day. He's got the sugar shakes. It's gonna be great.
I feel like that's a great victory, knowing how many jelly beans he has
I
eaten
didn't
in
say
his
I
life.
know the
compared
flavors.
To,
I just enjoy the flavors.
Right, but I've never met someone who loves Jelly Bellies
Yeah.
more than you,
Right.
or eats them more often than
Yeah.
you. So
That's
it
very
is
true.
impressive that you only got 1 out of 11 correct.
And one of the guesses
he got-
was
he got 2.
banana.
He got the butter popcorn
Oh,
late
yeah,
in the
that's
game.
true.
Yeah.
My apologies. My apologies. Well, that's been the lobby this week.
Thanks for celebrating Vision Sunday with us.
We'll talk all about that coming up in the service that's about to get started. But it is Vision Sunday. We're so excited for it. If you are someone who reached out and asked for one of those keys to be mailed out and that card, make sure you get those before the service starts. We'll talk a little bit more about that in Host Moments. But you'll find out all about what those are for, what the purpose is during Pastor Mike's message. It's a really awesome message today. We're so excited about it. Thank you guys for being here. Pastor Mike, Hattie, very nice hat. That's
Yeah,
really good.
I just
Oh,
realized
sorry, we gotta-
nobody else is wearing.
Mine is laying somewhere back there. So
I just really want it to stay there. Double producers, thank you for your double producing work.
It's a hard job today.
And remember, Hattie would like you all to let us know if I'm funnier, less funny, or the same funny when having a handheld microphone as opposed to a lapel. Do I need both hands for my humor?
Ooh.
Who knows? Is there humor? Don't worry about posting about that. We love you guys. We're so excited for today's service, and we'll see you in just a minute. Well, hey, church, welcome to New Hope here. Welcome to Vision Sunday.
Whoop, whoop.
That was really good, Whoopie. That's
I've been
Hattie
practicing.
had to be here because she's the best
Yeah,
whooper on
I feel
staff.
like, can I just do it one more time?
Yeah, do you want me to?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. What's up, church? Welcome to Vision Sunday.
Whoop whoop.
That was really good.
That was
again.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
second
think you were
take.
2 for 2. I'm sure all of you are whooping at home as well. It's
I
Vision
hope
Sunday
so.
today. Yeah, I hope you're whooping. Type whoop in the chat. for
Yes,
sure.
thank
Yeah,
you. Or like
definitely
the
type-
clap hands.
Which would you prefer?
Both.
Okay,
Yeah.
so clap hands, whoop whoop, and then close it with clap hands, almost like they're quotation
Amazing,
marks. That would be really
amazing,
great. Let's
yes.
fill the chat with those. We are that excited though because
Yeah.
Vision Sunday is going to be so awesome. Pastor Mike has such a cool message for us today, and there's a lot of things about like the history of the church and kind of where we've been and where we're going. I'm just so excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. And we have a great time of worship planned for you today. So together, church, let's go worship.
Who else would rocks cry out to worship? Whose glory taught the
Well, hey again, church. We want all of you who are joining us right now to fill out the Connect card. So right now in the chat, there's a button for that. Click that. And we just want to know who you are, where you're joining us from. You could share a little bit about yourself on the Connect card. Also, if you're just looking for more information about our church, you can check boxes, your favorite thing to
really
do.
Fun to do.
On the Connect card. It's just a great way for us to stay connected as a church.
Yeah, and also in the chat right now, you can find a link to our New Hope Here Kids page, and it's a service that's designed specifically for your children, elementary age all the way down to preschool, and so it's a great time of games with Pastor Andrea and her sister Anna, and there's some worship time and also a teaching time. So we encourage you to take out a second device, hand that to your child, and then focus on the service that's for you.
Right, adults do the service for you. I know
Yeah.
you were tempted to watch the kids.
I mean, I
sometimes.
get to edit it, and it's fun, and
'Cause you love
I
it.
sometimes watch my children too. So
It's good stuff.
what does it matter? Leave me alone, okay?
We also want to encourage you, starting next week, we're starting our brand new series. It's a 31-week series. It's going to be so good, called The Greatest Story Ever Told. And something we're doing alongside of that is reading the book called The Story. And it's a Bible, but it's in a story version. So there's different chapters of the Bible, not quite like the Bibles you and I read every day. If you want to pick that up, there's a link in the chat right now. You can grab that. It's $5.
Right.
That's a great price. And Pastor Mike will be assigning readings every week if you want to join us for that.
Yeah. Right now we're going to continue in worship by giving back to God His tithes and our offerings. And the easiest way to do that is by clicking the link in the chat. There's also a few other ways that are listed on the screen right now. But we just want to encourage you and remind you that the giving that happens here doesn't stay at New Hope. It goes through our community and throughout the world. So we just want to encourage you. Let's give back to God what He has given us in the first place.
Yeah, and we want to take a moment to it and to be praying for you. So if you have prayer requests, things that are just heavy on your heart today, there's live hosts that would love to be praying with you right now. So you can click that button, and yeah, we would love to pray for you. And we're going to pray together now, church. Holy Father, we just thank you for this time that we can come together as a church, just from all over, from many different places and many different circumstances, and just worship you together, Lord, just to sit and to focus on you and to leave all of the other things behind just for a little bit of time. And so, God, we're thankful for our church family and for what it is that you are teaching us this season. And we know as we celebrate what you've been doing through New Hope and what you have planned for us in the future, that it is so good. And so we just want to be a part of that. I pray over every person who's joining us today, God, that you would just show us how we are already a part of your church, but how you want us to use our gifts and our abilities and our talents to serve your church and to be a part of your church, Lord. And so would you stir that on our heart even today as we hear this message from Pastor Mike, Lord. We pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Hey, New Hope friends and family, I am so excited that you're with us on this weekend. Today is what we call Vision Sunday. And Vision Sunday is a day when it's kind of a state of the church, but don't let that scare you away. It's where we talk about and celebrate where God has taken us, where God is taking us, and what's happened and happening in the life of our family. And if you're new to New Hope, whether at any of our campuses, this is the perfect Sunday for you to be with us, because you'll get to know us a little bit better and figure out, is this the faith family that you want to be part of? Now, I don't know how much you're interested in history. For most of us, if we're honest, history only matters to us when it affects us. I want to know my history, my family history. You know, there's a few of us who are kind of history nerds and history geeks, and we want to know other history. But history for a lot of us isn't something we get captured by. But here's what you need to know about this place and this people called New Hope. If you are part of this New Hope family, you're part of history, and I'm going to break it apart. His story, God's story, in a huge way. You're a key to what God is doing. And we're going to come back and talk about that. So I want to invite you for the next few minutes into an amazing story of an amazing group of people who have been around for nearly 6 decades. And actually, it's multiple groups of people all woven together, all kinds of stories, to tell the story of this church family, New Hope. And our team went into the archives over the last few weeks, and we dug out some fun stuff with our history. So just settle back and let's hear a little bit of the story that you and I get to be part of.
It all began back in the spring of 1960. Reverend B.H. Veeder and his wife Rena were pastoring a Wesleyan Methodist church in Deadwood, South Dakota. It was then that they heard a call from God to move on, to begin a new church, the new mission, Williston, North Dakota. That same spring, Reverend Veeder came to Williston to check out the area. He also visited his niece Carolyn Smith and her husband Jim, who had recently moved to Williston. The Smiths lived on the 3rd story of an apartment building adjacent to what was going to be the church property. And it was during that visit, while looking out the apartment window, that God's vision began to be revealed. What started with a vision was rapidly becoming reality. That summer, the church began meeting in the Veeder home. Soon, a loan was secured, and the lots were purchased at the corner of 6th Avenue West and 17th Street. And on September 4th, 1960, the ground was broken. That fall, a trailer was purchased and was placed on the property. It served as a temporary parsonage, a worship facility, and an office. Men from the Johnson Corners and Watford City Wesleyan Methodist churches began to help with construction by contributing hundreds of hours in labor and hundreds of dollars in cash. Because of the incredible answers to so many prayers, the church in those early days began to be referred to as the Miracle Church. And rightly so. In fact, on December 4th, 1960, exactly 3 months to the day since the first shovel of dirt was moved, the building was enclosed and was ready for the first service. In the beginning, the sanctuary and the classrooms were in the basement. The services continued in the basement for the next 3 years, and in October 1963, the Williston Wesleyan Methodist Church was officially organized with 25 charter members. On Palm Sunday, the following March, a dedication service marked the completion of the first phase of construction. The sanctuary was now ready for use. During the next several years, more and more families were attracted to the Miracle Church. The 1970s brought significant changes, particularly growth in the Sunday school department and an increase in giving to missions. In fact, Reverend Burnell and Dolores Pudwell, who pastored the church from 1969 to 1973, accepted a call to be full-time missionaries to the country of Haiti. The church has continued to support the Pudwell's ministry through the years. In the late 70s and early 80s, the city of Williston experienced an oil boom, and hundreds of new families moved into the area. The Williston Wesleyan Church also saw its own boom under the leadership of Pastor Chuck Lucas. New attendance records were set in Sunday morning worship. The church welcomed new families with open arms. With growth also came the need to upgrade and expand the ministry facilities. In 1985, the church completed a 2-story wing east of the sanctuary. The new addition contained 2 nurseries, classrooms, a large fellowship hall, and a full-size kitchen. After the mid-'80s, western North Dakota saw an end of the oil boom, and Williston lost almost 1/3 of its population. This also meant the loss of several church families. But even throughout the economic transition in the area, the ministry and the people of the Williston Wesleyan Church remained faithful as they continued to touch lives in their community. Pastor John and Miriam Meek led the church into the 90s. The name of the church was changed to New Hope, reflecting a renewed sense of mission. In 1992, the Meeks moved to Missoula, Montana as church planters. Mark Gorvet and his wife Sherry moved from Birmingham, Alabama to Williston in the summer of 1992. The real turning point in the church came when the Board of Administration met together for a retreat after Pastor Mark arrived. It was during that August weekend that God's vision for New Hope began to clearly come into focus. That fall, a small group ministry was officially launched. People began to meet in homes throughout the community to build relationships, to offer encouragement and prayer support, and to learn life principles from the Bible. The church began to implement innovative strategies to reach new people. A second Sunday morning worship service was started in 1993, and later a Saturday night service was added. The church also began to launch special events focused on reaching people who had no church family. It was clear that God was using New Hope Church to make a difference. It was also clear that New Hope had to be creative in accommodating the new people. All of the hard work, sacrifice, and prayers of the people in the Miracle Church during the 60s, 70s, and 80s were certainly paying off. But there simply wasn't enough room in the existing facility to effectively accommodate what God was doing in the lives of people. In the spring of 1995, Sunday morning celebration services were temporarily held at the Williston High School auditorium and resumed at the 6th Avenue West facility during the summer months. New Hope's Sunday morning celebration returned to the high school in the fall of '95. A newly formed congregation requested permission to rent the existing auditorium. New Hope's leadership team was still seeking God's direction about the possibilities for relocation when the renting congregation approached us with an offer to purchase our first facility. God was opening a door of opportunity. The congregation voted overwhelmingly to support the sale and to pursue an aggressive timeline of relocation. It wasn't easy to give up a building that had been the home to New Hope for 35 years, but the investment and sacrifice of God's people over the years was honored. A purchase agreement was signed for $250,000 by the new congregation. The 6th Avenue facility would now continue to be a place of worship in God's service. The relocation process gained momentum. A search committee recommended 8 acres of commercial property owned by the city on West Dakota Parkway. The city was approached and agreed to begin a bidding process to sell the land. Our congregation voted to bid on the property, and on January 23, 1996, our bid of $80,000 was accepted by the City Commission. The door of opportunity had swung wide open. God was placing an incredible challenge before our church family.
Right now, I'm actually standing, even though I'm inside, but I'm standing in the place that was the field where not too long after that video we just watched was made, our first building on this field, our second building as a church family, was being built. And that focus on lost people and growing spiritually continued through the end of the 20th century and into the early 2000s. And after that building was built, a friend, who's now a friend of mine, Pastor Steve Norby, came as the next lead pastor. And Steve is an amazing teacher, an amazing discipler of people, and New Hope continued to move forward to the point where they had to add more space on the building. Actually, behind me, we dug out of the archives once again the original blueprint for adding on to that original building, and this was part of what they talked about as they talked about continuing to reach spiritually lost people and making space for more people. And as the first decade of the 2000s ended, oil in western North Dakota, as many of you know, not only boomed again, it went insane. And New Hope invited our family, my family, to be part of the next chapter of this amazing story. And it wasn't long, and we were nearly standing room only for at least all of our special services. In fact, I've got some pictures of one of our Christmases together. We couldn't all fit in together for all of our services. We bumped out into every corner of the building, as you can see from those pictures. And on the weekends, we had 3 very full back-to-back Sunday morning services, and we were having to squeeze our way in and out of the building. Some of you who are part of the Williston family were part of it during those days. It was an exciting time. And so just like what had happened in the 90s, it happened again. In 2013, New Hope took another huge step of faith, and we broke ground to make more space. And I've got some pictures of that process you can watch even as I talk through this. And here's the distinctive that we made. We didn't want to add more space for those of us who are already inside the building. We wanted to add more space so that those who had not yet found Jesus, our friends, our neighbors, our family, our coworkers, would have room to come and discover Jesus as well. And we wanted it to be a space that wasn't just to gather in, but a space that would be inviting, would make invitations easy. And so we partnered with Megalatte for a coffee shop that would be open 7 days a week. We put a playground in the building. Here's a picture of the playground being built where parents could come and let their kids play during the week and all kinds of things. And while that was happening, while that was being built, New Hope, you continued to live what it means to be the church. We got as creative as we could, even in the middle of the construction process, meeting outside. In fact, on Easter, we rented out what's called the Well at Williston State College and packed the room out. Here's a picture of one of those Easters together. It was an amazing adventure. And this amazing group of people, you, New Hope, continued to not just reach out to our neighbors and our friends, but continued to serve, continued to give, continued to move the mission forward, continued to live out what it means to be the church. In fact, one of the most creative moments was in 2015. We hosted here in Williston, North Dakota, a red carpet premiere for a movie. One of only like 4 or 5 anywhere in the world was the premiere for the movie Woodlawn. We've got some pictures. We packed out, sold out every theater in Williston that night as the story of Woodlawn and ultimately the story of the gospel got to be told. And it was in that winter that another group of people gathered. And we gathered to pray, we gathered to plan, we gathered to talk about what's the next chapter? What doors does the Lord want us to unlock? And just like that group of people in the 90s that affected the future and the direction in the next chapter of the church, that meeting resulted in a huge God-sized dream. In fact, just over my shoulder is this well-worn, weather-beaten, coffee-stained, ripped, constantly prayed over map we call our 4-hour circle. Williston is right in the middle of it, and the circle represents a 4-hour drive in any direction. And we began to pray about different locations, communities where the gospel needed to be preached, communities where there was no church presence, no place for people to invite their friends, let alone discover Jesus. Or if there were churches, in many of these communities, there weren't enough churches, or there was no quality, authentic presentation of the gospel. And so out of that time together, we set a huge God-sized goal. We called it 30 by 30. Our dream, with God's help, was to plant 30 gatherings of all sizes, all shapes, all styles, any way we could across North Dakota, even South Dakota, Canada, Montana. And to add to what, there were 4 churches actually already in existence. Williston, 2 in the Watford City area, 1 in Bismarck. But to add to that, where there were 30 gatherings by 2030. And we had no idea how that was going to happen, if I'm really honest. We had no idea how to make that happen. We had no idea how to plant a campus. So one of the things we knew, we needed to work on digital. So we began a live feed, and it wasn't awesome, but we needed a lot of work, but we just did the best we could. And then in the fall of 2019, a lot of you know this story, a call came from Tioga, North Dakota. Tioga, North Dakota, right here, asking us, inviting us to begin a church there. We had dozens of New Hope family driving from Tioga and Ray and the surrounding communities, many of you who are watching it and joining in even today, and asking us to begin a place where they lived and a gathering where they lived so that they could invite their friends to know Jesus. So, in the spring of 2020, New Hope Tioga began. And that was our first campus. And that started our journey towards the 30 gatherings by 2030. And we'd honestly, as we dreamed about this and prayed over this, we thought that our gatherings would be confined to this circle. But as usual, we were thinking too small. And God pressed us even bigger. So in 2020 and 21, and we all know what was happening during those months and during those years, God began to stir in some hearts of some New Hopers and some of our pastors and staff. And we sent out Pastor Aaron and his family and other New Hopers to Bismarck, North Dakota, and right now Central City Church is beginning. we sent out Pastor Russ and his family to Cincinnati, Ohio to begin, and it's beginning 219 Church. And of course, PH Church, Pagasian Hondog Church, right here in Williston, started under the leadership of Leo Monteroyo, who wasn't a staff member, was on our worship team, first generation from the Philippines, and had a heart to reach his Filipino friends and co-workers and first generation Filipinos here in North Dakota. And PH Church, by the way, just in the last couple weeks celebrated their first anniversary, and it was a huge celebration. And then on top of that, during the pandemic, our online services refocused. And we began to say, we need to help people wherever they are at begin to gather together and begin to reach their neighbors wherever they're at. So it turned into New Hope here, and we started talking about gatherings. And over that time, we've seen gatherings start, some directly and connected to us and trained by us. And if you're interested in that, let us know. Some indirectly start connected to us and trained by others in places like Sacramento, California, Tribune, Kansas, even in Williston, in homes, in a home and an apartment, in Montana and beyond. Friends, this group of people called New Hope, that's you, by the way, have continued to do everything in our power to go to a spiritually lost world. But let's just be honest. Let's be honest. It hasn't all been easy. It hasn't all been fun. One of the jobs of a leader is to call out reality even when reality is challenging and not always worth celebrating. Someone once said, for everything you gain, you will lose something. And some of you who have walked this journey know exactly what that's talking about. Change happens, right? In the video we just watched with the history of our church, talked about the struggles that the church in Williston and the Williston community had with the oil bust in the 80s and 90s. And for those of you who have been part of what's happened in Williston over the years, we live in an area where there's a constantly shifting economy with oil and agriculture that make life very interesting and sometimes very challenging, right? And in the second decade of the 2000s, just about the time we were completing this brand new facility that I'm standing in now as kind of the focal point and the home base for what God had planned for the future. We were making more space for more people, and oil busted. And as we were making more space, people were leaving Williston. In fact, one summer, we saw over 300 New Hopers whose names we know. Who knows how many there were who moved away, and we weren't aware of it at the time. Over 300 New Hopers move away. Those are discouraging times sometimes. And just after our beautiful building was built, the one I'm standing in, these things, and I'll show some pictures here, started showing up all over the building. Buckets. I mean, new buildings, new construction has problems, right? But we discovered we had some problems, and our building was leaking, and that would start a several-year journey that's just ending now in the fall of 2022 to fix our roof and other problems. And of course, on top of that, just 2 weeks after we launched our very first campus in Tioga, everybody remembered what happened in March of 2020? All in-person gatherings got shut down. And our Williston campus didn't open up for in-person gatherings for 3 months. Our Tioga brand new campus didn't open up until September of 2020. In fact, we experienced Easter services that year in a way none of us expected, and honestly, probably a lot of us didn't like. Here's a picture of the way our family celebrated Easter and went to service sitting around an Easter dining room table, watching and joining in and worshiping online. We did things, we got as creative as we could. We were not going to let the pandemic stop us. We did things like have drive-through communion. Here's a picture of that. And let's be honest, the effects of the pandemic, and those of you who are in education and other places in our society, you understand this. The effects of the pandemic, whether we like it or not, like what happened or not, like how it was handled or not, all those things, the effects of the pandemic have yet to be fully understood or measured on our culture, on our kids, even on our church family. Anytime you have a group of people, things are never static. And you add up nearly 6 decades, 59 years we're celebrating today of ministry. And there have been lots of changes. Some of those difficult and some of those incredibly good. But with the ups and downs, here's what I don't want us to miss. God's purpose did not stop. God's purpose did not change. New Hope has sent out missionaries, pastors, and leaders, some of whom we've known, some of whom we'll only know about in eternity over the decades. One of those was a young man who eventually became one of the lead chaplains in the Navy, planting churches on naval bases all over the world. By the way, that same chaplain was a counselor at a youth camp and influenced me long before I ever thought about or God called us to be part of the New Hope family. And who knows how many people moved to Williston to be part of the oil industry and found Jesus while they were here, and then when it busted or at other times moved back to where they were from or to another part of the country or the world, and now they're helping other people find Jesus. Those moments will echo into eternity. Just in the last few weeks, we had our annual financial audit, which doesn't sound all that exciting, and our auditor gave glowing reports. But here's one of the things he said. He said, New Hope is one of the most generous churches he audits. We've invested nearly $200,000 in the last couple of years in church planting and multiplications. We've stretched ourselves into the digital age like few other churches. And then we've done at our in-person campuses stuff, even in the middle of these last few times and over the years, mission trips. We support missions in ways we're told like few other churches. We serve our communities. In fact, just this summer, our Williston and Tioga campus gave Christmas gifts in the middle of the summer to every one of our global partners, our missionaries overseas. Over 115 gifts were given, totaling somewhere between $4,500 and $5,000 in Christmas presents. In August, we called it Fill the Fridge Month. And in Western North Dakota, our goal was to pack the refrigerator for every school teacher's lounge in our circle of influence as they began the school year. And over the last few weeks, we've packed the refrigerators of 17 different school teachers' lounges. And here's the even more incredible thing. We did some digging. And since the year 2000, as best as we can discover, catch this, as best as we can discover, about 2,000 people whose names we have, 2,000 people have made a decision to follow Jesus through the ministry of New Hope. That should give you pause. When I first saw that number, I just stopped. And some of you know me. I could not hold back the tears, especially when we dug further. And 70% of that 2,000 have happened in the last 10 years. 2,000 since 2000. Let me put that on the screen. That's worth putting in front of us. And that number, quite honestly, I'm told by our team, is probably low. Those are just the names that we have. And then we did some math, and we're talking about these gatherings, and not only the ones within the circle, but outside the circle. On top of the churches that were already present, and then Central City Church and PH Church and 219 Church, and our gatherings, we have in 2022 11 at least of the 30 gatherings that have begun, are in the process of beginning, or getting ready to launch. And we have 7 years to go to hit our 30 gatherings launch. 1 year from this October, New Hope will officially be 6 decades old. And we have so much to celebrate. The ups, the downs, the celebrations and the challenges. And you, New Hope, have been partnered with our amazing God. You've made an eternal difference. And you need to know how proud I am of you and how excited I am for what God has done and what God is doing with you. As we move into our 60th year, here's what I'm convinced of. In fact, I want to put it here on the screen. Kind of a long statement. We are convinced, we are more convinced than ever that the church is still the hope of the world. The church, that's you if you're a follower of Jesus. was designed by God to bring His hope to the world. And if you're a follower of Jesus, you are the church. We've been talking about that the last few weeks. And we've been looking at the two verses that define who we are. Colossians 1, verses 28 29. Here's what it says. He, that's Jesus, is the one, what's the next word? We proclaim. That's you. You are a key to this story. You're part of this story. You're part of this chapter. You're part of the next chapter. We proclaim Him, admonishing and teaching everyone with all wisdom, so that we may present everyone fully mature in Jesus. And I love this part. It says, to this end I strenuously contend, which means this takes work. This takes sacrifice. This takes intentionality. This takes a decision to say, I want to be part of the story. I strenuously contend with all of the energy which Christ so powerfully works within me. And the great news is, I don't have to do it alone. We're in partnership with Jesus. We summarize those two verses in 3 words. And those 3 words summarize the mission of the last 59 years. The vocabulary may have changed, but our mission has not changed. We may say it differently, but ultimately it's headed in the same direction. 3 words, some of you know it. You can type it in the chat with me, say it with me. Go, grow, and give. Go, grow, and give. And if you want to know what those means, here's what it means. Go means going to a spiritually lost world to help them find Jesus. Lost people found. Grow. We want people who find Jesus to grow up in Jesus. That's found people growing. And give, we do that by impacting our world with sacrificial love and generosity. Imagine New Hope. Imagine with me what New Hope will look like in another 6 decades. What began with a little group of people in the 1960s that first began meeting in the basement of a building they dug out with their own hands is now, by God's grace, not one location, multiple locations, a network of churches, campuses, gatherings, and the digital world that we're still trying to figure out how to count and how to reach. You're part of that story. You're a key to that story, New Hope. So the question is, what's next? Well, here's what God is calling us to be about. Now, I just want to go through these quickly. First of all, we still have 19 churches, gatherings, and campuses to start by 2030 with God's help. And our goal is to build a cash reserve, we'll call it a war chest, of at least $1 million ready to go so that if we get another phone call like Tioga or from wherever for a church plant, we're ready to respond in a moment. Our goal is that we would be able to help each one of our current campuses and buildings find permanent space where they can meet and work and minister 7 days a week. Second, we must engage our world in the digital world like never before. We've been moving digital for a while, but these last 2 years have accelerated that. And honestly, it takes a tremendous amount of resource and energy. Our existing in-person facilities technology needs a ton of attention, even though it feels like we just build it and updating. And we want to give God best for those that we invite in person. We also need to invest our best in the digital world. We have got to increase the size and staff and volunteers for our digital team. And our technology for our digital team needs to increase. We need a studio space so that we can continue to expand. Third thing we need to do, we are committed to grow and to strengthen the family. I don't know if you've noticed, but the family right now is under attack, has been for years. Whether family is single, married, with kids, without kids, empty nesters, divorced, married again, our goal is we want our children and our student ministries to be places and gatherings in person and online where our students and our kids want to go, almost, in competition with Disney and Marvel and everything else. I think we can do it. And we're working on events and groups and opportunities, digital and in person, to build every aspect of family life, married events, support groups, life season groups, and so much more. In fact, this September, we begin a brand new series that's going to take us all the way to spring. That's going to be a great invitation event, but an event designed to help all of us move forward in our faith and to invite friends to discover Jesus. We're calling it The Greatest Story Ever Told. And we, for the next 30 plus weeks, all the way past Easter, are going to walk cover to cover through our Bible, connecting all of the pieces together, helping us wrestle with the questions. And what is God's story He's telling in us and through us? Last, we will raise up and give opportunities for leaders of all ages to grow. For young leaders, for second career leaders, men and women of all ages, all cultures, all backgrounds, to be equipped to be the key to what God is doing in where you live and where you work. I've had people come to me and say, Pastor Mike, I've been looking at the Bible, and I'm pretty sure we're in the end times. I'm pretty sure the prophecies are being fulfilled. And I don't know whether that's true or not, but here's what I do know. If these are the last days, then think about this. What great coach, what great leader, what great military leader doesn't save their best for the moment when they're needed the most? That moment in the game that is crucial to win the game. You put your best players in. That moment in the battle, where it's going to be a turning point. You put your best warriors in. If these are the last days, you know what that means about you? That means you are God's best for this moment. You are the key for what God is doing. So how will all these things happen? They will happen, and they can happen the same way they've been happening for 59 years. When a group of people who are followers of Jesus, who choose to be part of this crazy journey called New Hope, look around and say, this is our time. There's no one else. God, we choose to be your key to unlock what you are doing. And so here's your moment. I'm inviting you, New Hope. I'm inviting you, New Hope here, New Hope Tioga, New Hope Williston, across all of our network, to join me in 3 commitments this year. And we have these key cards. These are key cards, literally key cards with a key attached to them, and you can just peel that key off. It's got a string of leather. You can wear it as this year as a necklace. You can cut it down, put it on your keychain. You can put it on your bathroom mirror, maybe hang it from your rearview mirror. Do not throw it away. Do not just throw it on your dresser. Keep it in front of you. This is your reminder, and maybe it'll be a little bit annoying. That's a good thing, to remind you of the 3 commitments, and they're on the card. For those of you joining us in New Hope here, right now, both in the chat and on the screen, we're telling you how to contact us so that we can send you one of these, so you have a physical one of these, because I want you to have this. And here's the commitment. 3 things that go with our mission. We talk about go, lost people being found. Our commitment challenge is every one of us this year invite one. Everyone invite one. Imagine what this year would be like if every one of us said, I'm going to pray and I'm going to ask God to help me invite at least one person to join me. Maybe join me in my small group. Maybe to join me to experience God's story and the greatest story you've ever told. Maybe for Christmas Eve, for Easter. One person. A year from now, that number that's happened since the year 2000, we could double that in a year if everyone invites one. So today, right now, write down on this card one name. Second, grow. Found people growing. Here's our commitment. Join a small group. I know that's going to stretch some of you, and Hattie talked a couple of weeks ago about the importance of small groups. Small groups are not our idea. They're God's idea. You will never thrive. You will never grow. You will never become who God intended for you to be. You will never be a complete part of God's story outside of biblically functioning community. The church is designed to move forward as we connect together. So today, decide to join a small group. You say, there's not a small group where I am. Then we'll help you. We'll help you start one. You just let us know in the chat, and our team in a few moments will talk to you about gatherings and starting a gathering where you are. Finally, give. Our commitment challenge is to take one new step of sacrifice. And so many of you give so much. So many of you have been such a key part of the story. I want to challenge you this year to take one step. If we were to kind of measure what we give to the kingdom on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe you say, I'm a 4. Don't try and become a 10. Just how can you move one step, just from a 4 to a 5, from a 5 to a 6, from a 7 to an 8 this year? Maybe to say, I'm going to give a little bit more time, or maybe to say, I'm going to discover my gift and step into a place of service. Maybe to say, I'm going to start a gathering even though that stretches me and I'm not sure where I'll find the time. Maybe it's to say, I need to be part of biblical stewardship and giving back. $5 a week, $10 a week, maybe to begin tithing 10%. Maybe you own a business and you've never considered tithing from your business. If you want God's blessing, full blessing on your business, are you being obedient in biblical stewardship with your business? What's that sacrificial gift? Write it down right now. Don't wait till 3 months from now when you go, oh, I forgot about that. Write it down right now. Everyone invite one. Join a group. Take one new step of sacrifice. And here's what where I want to leave us. I want to leave us with a little bit of imagination. I want you to imagine a day in a corner of eternity when all of this earth has finally been restored, when the universe has finally been restored. And there's a gathering of people reserved with a big sign over the top that said, Crazy New Hope People. And you've been invited. In fact, maybe you got an invitation from one of the angelic warriors, from Jesus himself, because it matters that much. Come to the New Hope party. And you walk into this corner of eternity and it's packed with people. And you look across and there's some people you know who you haven't seen in a long time. And you go over and you exchange hugs, or if you're an introvert, you exchange fist bumps. And you just begin to catch up and talk about God's work. And there's a buzz, there's an anticipation in the building. And then everything goes silent. And Jesus walks in. And the crowd parts like the parting of the Red Sea. And he walks slowly through the crowd and meets as only Jesus can do. Every eye shakes hands, greets every one of you by name. And then he steps up. He steps up to the platform in the middle of the room and he begins to rotate. He begins to turn, and as only Jesus can do, he turns and he looks everyone in the eye, saying, You belong here. You belong here. You matter here. Then he lifts up his hands and he begins to clap. And as he claps, it sounds like the thunderous applause of a stadium with 1 million people. And he says, Well done, New Hope. Well done, New Hope. And if that wasn't enough, when he's done applauding, he begins to call a name, one name after another, and invites one person after another to come up and tell their story and how the people of New Hope made a difference in their lives. And it goes on for centuries, and we aren't tired, we aren't worn out, because time no longer matters, and we're so engaged in the story that we got to be part of, realizing we were the key. We were the key. And your name is mentioned. Your name is mentioned, and you didn't know. In fact, there's people you've never met who begin to call you out, and there's people start gathering around you and saying, Thank you for your part. I wouldn't be here without what you did, without how you gave, without how you served. That time you invited me, that time you invited that person who came, and they invited a person who came, and they invited a person who came, and they invited a person who came. You were the key that unlocked that moment for me. And then your name is called, and Jesus calls you up, and you get to tell your story, and you get to call out other New Hopers, and gatherings begin to happen around this. And it sounds like a far-fetched story, but if you're a follower of Jesus, New Hope, it's your story. It's your story. It's your future. It will be your eternity. And these next months, this next year, the next decade, the next generation, the next 60 years will include you. And I don't know how long any of us will be on this earth. I don't know how long any of us will continue to stay engaged directly with this crazy group of people called New Hope. God calls different ones of us out to plant churches, to move to other places, but we're all part of God's story. And like those crazy group of people who follow Jesus, many of whom who still walk alongside of us from the 1960s, you get to be part of the story. And someday, your face will be the one in the video. I want to invite you right now to just consider that you are the key. You're the key to another 59 years, soon to be 6 decades of stories. And it will begin with 3 commitments. Every one of us invite one. Join a small group. Really, do it. And take one sacrificial step of love and generosity. New Hope, let's keep telling the story. Father, help us in the name of Jesus become the church that God has called us to be. Help us to continue to dream big, continue to sacrifice, continue to move your kingdom forward. It's in the name of Jesus we pray. Amen.
Well, hey, church, thank you again for being a part of Vision Sunday. What an awesome vision Pastor Mike cast. And I loved not the circle, but the other one.
Yeah, the building plans.
The building plans.
From
Those
the-
are the words that I was
from
looking
the
for.
addition that they had
I had
there,
never
yeah.
seen those
That was-
before
that
from
was
the
really
very
cool.
first building
Yep,
that they
that was
built
first
here
for me
on
too.
in this location. It was so cool to have that, and just great to hear about the history. That video was
Yeah.
amazing. We saw that a lot as you were editing it down,
Yes.
but it was just so amazing to see where New Hope has been and where we're going. And so we hope that you enjoyed it. We hope that it challenged you to maybe take a next step. And we also hope that you got one of these keys that Michael and I are wearing. Hattie's been wearing it. Pastor Mike was wearing one during the lobby. And now that you know what they're about, if you don't have one, if you didn't reach out last week and ask for one, just let us know. Fill out a Connect card and say, hey, I would really love one of those cards and keys sent out. But if you do have one, or when you get one, make sure you put it somewhere prominent. Don't just throw it off to the side. Yes, it's just a key on a kind of scratchy string, if I'm being honest. but it's so much more than that, and it's to remind us that we are the key. And so we want to make sure that you put it somewhere prominent. Pastor Mike was telling us he's got it on the rearview mirror of his car because it's annoying, which made me laugh. But it's annoying, so it reminds him. Where do you think you're going to put yours?
I've been thinking my neck, but as I've been wearing it today,
I'm
it's
not,
a little itchy.
I will not be wearing it.
But maybe that's the
That's
annoying
the
part.
annoyance that'll remind you. You just my neck constantly
yeah.
hurts. Oh yeah. I think I'm gonna tie mine on my bag.
Yeah.
And then it'll hit me in the leg while I'm walking.
Yeah.
It'll be
That would be annoying.
But
It can remind you a lot.
But make sure you put it somewhere prominent. And again, if you don't have one yet, just fill out a Connect card and let us know that you'd like one mailed. Make sure your address is on there, and we'll get one sent out to you.
Yeah, and Pastor Mike challenged us with 3 challenges today. The first one is the one I want to talk about right now is everyone invite someone.
Yes.
And I thought, what a great way to start a gathering. We talk about it every week.
Which was challenge 2.
Which was challenge 2. So
You nailed both of them.
you get to do 2 things in one. So, but really, we want to encourage you if you've been just challenged by this message, or in the past.
Maybe you've been hearing us talk about these gatherings
Right,
for a while. And
every week
you
for the
check,
past year.
You check out during this part. Yeah.
But we want you just to take that next step and fill out the form in the chat right now, or click the link and it'll take you to a form.
Yep.
And then we would love to come alongside you and just encourage you and help you through the whole process. And
Yeah, you won't be in it alone. And
Right.
so, we would love to talk to you about that. You can always fill out a Connect card too and just let us know. We'd love to talk about a gathering. And we'll reach out about that. We want to mention Starting Point too. We've been talking about it a couple weeks. We've already got someone signed up for it, which we're super excited for. So join us for Starting Point. It's on September 25th.
2
Man,
weeks.
I'm bad at dates. We just talked about the date of it, and I already forgot. But we're good. September 25th.
Yep.
I just said it, and I forgot again.
Good job.
September 25th, 12:15 Central Time. There's a link in the chat. You can click to get signed up for it now. But make sure that you join us for that if you haven't yet. Starting Point is so much fun. You get to hang out with me and Hattie, and sometimes Michael. Michael at Starting Point is like the ice cream machine at McDonald's. Like sometimes it's working and you can get ice cream, but most of the time probably
So
not.
you're saying sometimes I'm working?
Yeah, sometimes Michael's working, but sometimes he's at Starting Point. Whenever he's able to, he's joined us at Starting Point. It's always fun. But it's also just the best way to start getting connected here at New Hope, and you learn a little bit about the church. So we would love to see you September 25th.
Good
Nailed
job.
it at Starting Point.
3rd time's a charm, right?
Yeah, I got it. And Michael's going to talk about the Grow podcast, and he doesn't have to remember any dates for that.
Right, but it does come out on Mondays, so I have to remember
That is
what
a day of the
it
week, yeah.
But seriously, check out the Grow podcast. Goes always goes deeper, or most likely goes deeper. I
It
guess.
does.
Have we fully adopted?
I think it always goes deeper.
In the Sunday message.
Yeah,
is where
it's
I
a
was
really,
going.
really cool one this week, and I think if
Yeah.
you saw, you saw the emotion in Pastor Mike today.
Yeah.
during the message, and whenever he talks about lost people becoming found, he gets emotional, and I feel like we all should. We all should have
Absolutely.
that passion for lost people, and we dive deeper into that in the podcast, and I get to ask him some cool questions, and of course he had amazing answers to them. And
Right.
it's a really good one this week.
It's always really good.
Thank you. I didn't want to say that because I'm on it.
'Cause you
but,
have to
but this week in particular. So yeah, you make
Absolutely.
sure you check that out.
Yeah,
Where
check
can they find it?
YouTube,
Yep.
Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Yes.
So yeah, check that out today.
Yep. And again, we love you, New Hope family. We're so glad that you're here. We're so excited for our series, The Greatest Story Ever Told, that starts next week, and the first chunk of that called Threads. It's going to be a really, really cool week, so make sure you join us. Until then, let's go and be the church.
I don't understand. What if I do some box jumps?
That's not a jump.
Penny, could you let the camera
It
know
still hasn't
why you're
registered.
doing what you're doing right now?
It won't get my stand hour. Watch this.
One day,
It still hasn't gotten it.
you know how some people ask the question like, how will technology ever overcome human beings? How will it ever have power over us?
It's controlling Hattie right now.
Hattie's watch said,
I did
you're
it!
supposed to stand.
I did it.
And she's been running around like a crazy person for 5 minutes because of
I'm
that.
being physically fit.